You know, there is a prediction Baba Vanga made back in 1989 that has been sitting in the archives for decades. It never made sense until right now, in 2026. And honestly, it is terrifying.
Terrifying how?
Because of the accuracy. Listen to her exact words. When the eagle returns with the same face, 3 storms will shake its nest before the great change.
The eagle returning with the same face. That has to be Trump. He returned to the White House just a few days ago.
Exactly. And according to Vanga, the first storm has already hit. Did you see what happened on January 14th?
You mean the crash? It was impossible to miss. The stock market collapse.
Wall Street lost $2.3 trillion in value in 48 hours. The media is calling it volatility, or a correction. But Baba Vanga called it by its real name 37 years ago. She said, "The first storm will come from the gold that disappears."
That's a chilling way to put it. Gold that disappears.
And here is what no one is telling you. She was incredibly specific about the timing. She said these 3 storms would all happen before the 2026 solstice.
The summer solstice. That gives us until June.
Correct. 3 massive events between January and June. The first, the financial one, already happened. The second is unfolding right now as we speak. And the third one will redefine what it means to be the United States.
Before we get to the third one, I want to go back to what she said about the response. Usually, predictions are just about doom and gloom events.
Vanga was different. She didn't just predict the events, she predicted the reaction. She said the people of the eagle would have to choose between fear that divides and truth that unites. She saw that choice as the determining factor for whether the U.S. rises or collapses over the next 50 years.
So this isn't politics?
No, we aren't talking about politics here. We are talking about collective consciousness, a spiritual tipping point disguised as an earthly crisis. And remember who we are dealing with. Baba Vanga had an 85% accuracy rate.
Right. She predicted 9/11 with those steel birds details.
She predicted Obama would be the 44th president and that he would be black, decades before he was even known. She predicted the 2004 tsunami, Fukushima, even the pandemic. When she spoke about the United States, world leaders listened in secret. And what she saw for Trump in 2026 isn't a political prediction, it is a spiritual warning.
A warning about the end of the country?
No, in her own words, what is coming for the eagle isn't its end but its rebirth. But she warned that the birth would be painful. We are in that birth canal right now.
Let's look at that first storm again. January 14th, 2026. Just a few weeks ago, it happened with no real warning.
It wasn't a normal correction. It was structural panic. Analysts are still trying to explain it. Interest rates, tensions with China, tariff policies, but they are looking at the surface. Vanga saw deeper. She said the first storm comes from the gold that disappears when trust evaporates like water in the desert.
When trust evaporates. That feels right. In modern terms, she's talking about value. The illusion of financial security. In 48 hours, trillions just vanished. Pensions, savings, investments.
But the point no one mentions is that it wasn't just money that disappeared. It was trust in the system. Vanga didn't see economic crises as isolated math problems. She saw them as symptoms of cracks in the collective consciousness. When millions of people lose faith simultaneously, when the illusion of stability breaks, that is where true transformation begins.
Trump tweeted that it was temporary turbulence. The market stabilized a little bit, but you can feel it. The seed is planted.
She called it the shaking of the first illusion, and it is fascinating that she predicted the first storm would be economic precisely because the United States built its entire identity on material prosperity. To shake the US, you have to shake what it values most: money, success, material abundance.
And where does Trump fit into this specific storm?
Vanga said, the leader who returns will bring the mirror.
The mirror?
It means Trump doesn't create the crises. He reveals them. He accelerates them. He puts them center stage. For years, economists warned about bubbles, unsustainable debt, a system built on speculation. No one listened. Then Trump returns, implements aggressive policies, and boom, the bubble bursts.
So he didn't create the bubble, he just popped it.
Exactly. He made it visible. That is the mirror. He forces us to see what we had been ignoring. But Vanga was clear. This first storm was only the beginning, the mildest one. It came to prepare hearts for what follows. If people panic over money, how will they react when the second storm strikes something even more fundamental?
And you said the second storm is already here.
It is. And it is far more dangerous because it doesn't attack your wallet. It attacks truth itself. Vanga said, and these were recorded by her niece Casimira in 1995, the second storm will be of words that lie and truths that no one believes.
Truths that no one believes. If you look at the news since the inauguration on January 20th, we are living in the eye of that hurricane.
It is unprecedented. It isn't just fake news anymore. It is the disintegration of consensus about what is real. Look at last week regarding the border.
Right. Trump declared the migration crisis the worst invasion in history. CNN showed statistics saying illegal crossings have fallen 40% since 2023. Fox News showed other numbers saying they've increased 60%.
Who is lying, or are both manipulating real data to create opposing narratives?
The scary part is that it doesn't matter anymore. Each side believes their version with absolute conviction.
That is exactly what Vanga predicted. Not a lie versus the truth, but multiple truths competing, fragmenting our shared reality. She called it the storm of 1,000 voices. And she said something deeply revealing. When no one knows what to believe, they will finally have to learn to feel.
Learn to feel. That sounds abstract, but I think I get it. In the age of infinite information, we are more confused than ever. We have all the data, but we can't agree on facts.
Because we have relied so heavily on intellect, on logic, on external news sources, we have forgotten how to access our internal compass. Trump is the perfect catalyst for this because he operates in the realm of emotional narrative, not verifiable facts. He says something and half the country feels it as truth, the other half feels it as a lie.
And both sides have evidence.
Precisely. From a higher perspective, this crisis is necessary. Humanity is transitioning from the age of the mind to the age of heart consciousness. To make that transition, it has to become clear that the mind alone is not enough. Vanga said the second storm will force souls to seek truth where the eyes cannot see.
Meaning we have to turn inward, intuition.
Look around. Political division is at an all-time high, but simultaneously, meditation, mindfulness, and consciousness practices are exploding. Subconsciously, millions are feeling that the external world no longer offers certainty.
Trump is the mirror again. He amplifies the confusion so we can't ignore it.
He polarizes us so we must confront our own shadows, our fear, our need to be right. And Vanga gave a very specific timing for the peak of this second storm. She said it would peak when the moon is full twice in 1 month.
A blue moon.
Which is happening this March 2026. We have a full moon on March 3rd and another on March 31st. According to her vision, by then, the fragmentation of reality will be so extreme that something has to give. Either society breaks completely, or enough people awaken to a higher way of knowing truth.
She warned that this storm would make brothers fight each other because it feels real. We see that already. Families broken over politics.
But beneath the fight, a deeper question is emerging. What matters more, being right or being connected? And that question leads us directly to the third storm, the most intense one.
The one before June.
Yes, take a deep breath because this shakes everything. Vanga was absolutely clear. The third will come from the sky, and the eagle will look up for the first time in decades, remembering it is not alone.
Remembering it is not alone. For years, people debated this. Was it a missile? A climate disaster?
Some researchers of her private prophecies found something else. She told a close circle, it will not be destruction from the sky, but revelation from the sky. Something that forces everyone to look in the same direction.
Revelation. I'm not saying she predicted an alien invasion, but remembering it is not alone suggests something non-human?
Well, look at the context. In recent months, the Pentagon has publicly admitted there are objects in our airspace with technology they don't understand. Pilots testifying under oath. It's no longer conspiracy theory.
And Trump, during his first term, made those cryptic comments about space. Now he has full access again.
Vanga said the third storm happens when the sun is at its highest point, the summer solstice, June 2026. But the spiritual meaning is what matters. It isn't about the event itself, it's about the shift in consciousness. She said, when they look up together, they will remember they are one human family. The differences that divide them will feel small in the face of vastness.
It's a forced perspective shift. Like when you see the Earth from space, politics seem petty.
Exactly. It could be an asteroid passing dangerously close. It could be a massive solar storm that threatens our global grid. Or it could be an official announcement of contact with non-human intelligence. But Vanga didn't see it as something to fear. She saw it as a catalyst. She said, only when they face something they cannot control will they learn to release control.
And the president is the one on stage when this happens.
The leader must guide the U.S. through that moment of revelation. But Vanga said the leader will look to the people for answers, and the people will have to look within themselves. It is an abrupt awakening, a shock that breaks old mental structures.
So, according to her, this is already in motion. We have the economic crash, the crisis of truth, and a sky event coming by June.
The question is how we respond, with fear, or with the understanding that this is what we needed to evolve, because she saw what comes after the storms, and this is where it gets hopeful.
That's the rebirth you mentioned.
Yes, people think these prophecies are punishments. Vanga viewed them as initiations. She saw the United States having a specific role in planetary awakening. She said in 1991, the eagle must burn its old feathers so new ones can grow. Only then can it fly higher than ever.
That was right after the Soviet Union fell. The US was the sole superpower.
And Vanga warned that power came with a test. Can a nation keep its power and its soul? Can it lead without dominating? According to her, the U.S. failed that test for decades. It became addicted to control and accumulation.
And Trump represents the final symptom of that.
In the larger narrative, yes, he represents unrestrained ego. But Vanga didn't see him as a villain. She saw him as an involuntary teacher. She said, sometimes the universe sends the hardest teacher right before graduation. You can't heal what you deny. Trump reflects the shadow of the nation. He says he defends freedom but acts authoritarian. He promises greatness while revealing fragmentation.
He is the mirror of a nation that says one thing and does another.
Exactly. But she predicted that in the year of the three storms, 2026, a movement would rise, not of politics, but of heart, a critical mass. She called it the birth of the new America.
What does that look like?
Communities organizing locally, people prioritizing connection over consumption. It is happening now beneath the noise, and she predicted this U.S. awakening would spark a global one. When the eagle remembers how to fly with heart, other nations will remember too.
That's a heavy responsibility. The U.S. as a living experiment.
If the experiment of coexistence fails here, the message to the world is that division is inevitable. But if the U.S. evolves beyond its shadows, The message is that transformation is possible.
You mentioned a specific number earlier, 30%.
This is crucial. Vanga predicted that about 30% of the US population would emerge from these storms transformed. Not perfect, but more aware, more compassionate. She believed that 30% is enough to change the nation's entire direction. Critical mass doesn't require a majority.
So the question is, how do you become part of that 30%?
Based on her recorded conversations, she gave 4 recommendations for living through the storms. First, don't get dragged into the drama. Observe, stay informed, but not consumed. Remember, you are a soul having a human experience.
Second,
Cultivate your inner world. Meditate, pray, connect with something greater. That is your anchor when the outside world is shaking. Third, serve. In a crisis, the people who handle it best are those asking, "How can I help?" rather than, "What is happening to me?"
and the fourth,
Keep compassion even for those you disagree with, especially for them. Unity is the path. Vanga was clear. Those who respond with fear will be consumed by the chaos. Those who respond with love will be the builders of the new world.
It sounds simple, but it's incredibly hard when you're watching your savings vanish or hearing lies on the news.
It is hard, but your response is the only thing within your control. Prophecies aren't fulfilled or avoided, they are navigated.
Did she see what happens further out, like past 2026?
She did. She saw the clarity after the storm. She predicted that by 2030, just 4 years from now, the US would experience the flowering. Her words, "After the eagle burns its old feathers, feathers of colors it never had before will grow."
Evolution.
She described an America where the young lead with heart and the old follow with humility. New leadership based on authenticity, not power. She saw technologies emerging, not for war, but to heal. Clean energy, medical advances.
And globally?
By the mid-2030s, she saw a council of conscious nations, not a world government, but a voluntary alliance based on cooperation. She saw the US as a founder, but as an equal member, not a ruler.
And Trump, where is he in 2030?
A closed chapter. Vanga saw him becoming history, remembered not as a hero or a villain but as the catalyst, the president who shook everything so that we could awaken. Future generations might even be grateful for the shaking, because without it, we would have stayed asleep.
That is a massive perspective shift, seeing the chaos as a necessary part of the design.
Vanga deeply believed in our higher destiny, but she knew evolution requires choice. 2026 is the exam.
Before we finish, you mentioned a final message she left, something specifically recorded for us, for this time.
Yes, just before she died in 1996, she asked for this to be recorded for the people of the storms. Translated from Bulgarian, this is what she said to you. To those who live in the time of storms, do not be afraid. Fear is the prison. Love is the key. What comes as crisis is actually opportunity in disguise. An opportunity to remember who you really are. You are not your jobs. You are not your bank accounts. You are not your political opinions. You are sparks of the divine having a human experience. And this experience, as hard as it is polishing you like diamonds. Pressure creates clarity. Chaos creates awakening. Trust the process. Trust yourselves. And above all, trust one another, because division is illusion, unity is truth, and truth always prevails even if it takes time. I love you, I see you, and I know you can do this.
She was talking to us 30 years ago.
She was. So let's synthesize. 3 storms for 2026. Economic, already hit. Informational, happening now. The sky, coming by June. Trump is the mirror. The US is the eagle burning its feathers.
And the solution isn't a new politician. It's the 30% of us who choose consciousness over reaction.
You are not a spectator of history. You are a co-creator. Every thought and action contributes to the field. Baba Vanga bet on us. She trusted that light always finds a way.
Now it's up to us to prove she was right.
The storms are here, the pain is real, but on the other side is the flowering. The final question isn't what happens to the country. It is, who will you choose to be during the storms?
That choice determines the future.
Exactly. If this resonated with you, share it. Someone you know needs to hear this. We are millions awakening together.
Until next time.
Keep your light,